what's more meaningful in life than being happy? Isn't that what we all came here to do and be? As I spoke already in my videos, the way we unconsciously move, interact, and perceive life is greatly driven by our beliefs. Beliefs that either expand our consciousness in finding meaning and happiness, or beliefs detaching one from divine source, the creator or universe, or God within, however you want to call it, that creates a sense of hopelessness or creates the illusion of a savior or the illusion that any meaning exists outside of us. The meaning can be reflected back to us through the things or people outside of us, but the source for it rather lives inside. When we do not seek to recognize it, believe it, or give it the energy that it needs, we do in fact lose a sense of meaning in life. So of course, play and continuing to learn is important when it comes down to analyzing our beliefs and questioning whether they allow us to continue expanding and learning, or if we neglect them, then our beliefs or lack of such can lead to a state of depression and chronic loneliness. Because when we do not have a meaning, we live in the illusion of pain. Pain is part of our growth process of life, and the only way we can move through it is when we see the hope or meaning behind it through our set of beliefs. When we're not aware of what brings us meaning to our life and live it, what we get is the expansion of its lower vibration, which is pain. So today I want us to look at your natal chart and explore the significance of Jupiter, which is usually explained as the planet of expansion, abundance, joy, but to me it is that which points us to our meaning and where we find hope. Because when we're not aware of what that meaning represents to us and invest our energy there, then Jupiter can equally expand the illusion and abundance of pain. And why I want to point your attention to become consciously aware of displacement, because our beliefs are very deeply rooted in the unconscious. So awareness to them we create through Mercury or through our conscious mind, which was in my previous video. Awareness we create through learning. So the teachings of Aseman explain that happiness is only a reflection to the meaning we find in life. The meaning that comes from the belief in our essence. And our essence is being a soul and a spirit. In astrology, the soul is our moon, which is in the 4th house, and the spirit is the sun, which is in our 5th house. So 4 plus 5 equals 9. So the 9th house points to that how meaning is integrated. Even in numerology, the number 9 is associated with completeness, growth, and learning. Yet that realization only manifests through our essence, soul, and spirit, or our immortal existence beyond this physical reality. And this is the philosophy of the divine existence within Aseman. Everything we do in life should not destroy our inner harmony or the foundation of our essence. And when it does, this is when we become deprived of meaning, no matter how much success we have, no matter how much we have accumulated or accomplished. So happiness is only something reflective of our inner state of connection to our truth, the truth living within. Hence, our perceptions and beliefs about that truth impact our level of happiness. Of course, beliefs is not something we can easily change, yet we need to question and explore if we speak about happiness. And trust me, when you meet constantly dissatisfied and complaining people, it is just them looking for excuses to complain about because they're still stuck in some delusional state of self that they rather need to assess. They need to assess their beliefs and truth about the reality of those events. It is easy to complain and feel self pity, but it requires learning and to challenge one's own perceptions about the pain and its source that you are experiencing. Because when we cannot learn through love, we learn through pain. And regardless, the only solution comes back around to our need to question and learn. And happiness is a function of our ability to learn to expand our philosophy about life and existence. One who learns comes to understand that also through learning you're no longer lonely. Loneliness we experience in the absence of learning. We as creators begin the process of creation or life through finding the cure for loneliness, through learning and shifting our mindset to discover that which brings us meaning and joy, which lives in our Jupiter placement. So now I'm going to speak about both what truly gives us meaning to our life so we can consciously choose to integrate it. And when we don't, what are the negative or painful manifestations for it? So watch the full video and learn where you find meaning, the cure to your loneliness, and experience happiness in life, where I'm going to go over in depth for each and every Jupiter placement sign. So for each placement, look by sign and to the house to find out in what area in life your Jupiter plays out. We're not limited to meaning simply only by our Jupiter placement, but we can explore what sign we have Jupiter in, what house it's sitting in. And in addition, we can add the sign on the 9th, but also 12th house cusp, and build the picture to a fully painted canvas of meaning. Jupiter in Aries, Jupiter in the 1st house, Aries on the 9th house cusp. With this placement, you find meaning and happiness through self-assertion. When you express yourself and do what you want, and when you demand what you want. For you, it is important that you need to carve out your own path and lead your own way to happiness. You cannot follow someone else's direction or wait for others to make you happy. You cannot expect others to be your source of happiness. Overall, you are an easily happy-go-lucky person when you take the initiative and trust that everything works out in divine order. You can be easily happy in life when you're following your urges, what feels exciting for you and ignites your passion. You're happy when you're courageous and fight for your ambitions and goals, or for yourself and your identity and who you are, for your rights and for your freedom. When things happen on your own time, your own way, when you want to, that's when you're happy. So to sum it up, your happiness is when you make it your own way. And when you deny, reject, or do not do that, the way this lack of meaning plays out is by you being easily angered, irritated, impatient, and impulsive. Now, if you have Jupiter in Taurus, Jupiter in the 2nd house, or Taurus on the 9th house cusp, with this placement, you find meaning and happiness through money, through material gains, material and spiritual gains. Do not disregard one for the other. You need both. So material or physical possessions make you happy only when you invest in spiritual pursuits simultaneously. For example, you can buy a luxury property where you organize spiritual retreats, and that's a perfect way that's going to play out. Also, sensual pleasures make you happy. touch, comfort, food, smells, enjoying yourself and taking things slowly at your own pace, and you're not rushed, and as long as all you do brings you sensual pleasure and being in comfort, that allows you to be in the presence of your body. And when you deny, reject, and do not do that, the way this lack of meaning plays out is by you being stubborn, greedy, overly materially attached, or possessive and lazy. You can feel stuck in a comfort zone in one place. If you have Jupiter in Gemini, Gemini in the third house, Jupiter in the third house, Gemini on the ninth house cusp, you'll find meaning and happiness through more than one source. So for example, teaching and learning, communicating and listening, even gossiping and exchanging that everyday information makes you happy. Your external environment and you interacting with it becomes your source of happiness. You need to be around people, not alone. You need to use your hands and learn new skills. Driving and also driving to short proximities, those things make you happy. Also taking short courses and learning different languages. You are happy when you have someone to talk to, and that conversation feels lighthearted and enjoyable. So daily short trips are also very energizing and make you happy, especially if you have company to exchange knowledge and information, to learn and teach each other as you go on a voyage somewhere. Even when you're being childish or playful and silly, those things and that behavior also makes you feel happy. And when you deny, reject, or do not do that, the way this lack of meaning plays out is by feeling anxious, restless, confused. You may even show symptoms of ADHD and even resort to lying. But most experience difficulties in focusing and mentally processing information. If you have Jupiter in Cancer, Jupiter in the fourth house, Cancer on the ninth house cusp, you'll find meaning and happiness through family. Family makes you happy, to be needed by your family, needed by those who you care about. Since you choose who you care for, you need to be needed by those same people, those who you are emotionally invested in. And you're happy when someone is dependent on you and your nurturing side. And when you deny, reject, and don't do that, the way this lack of meaning plays out by you becoming very clingy, very moody and crabby, resentful, and emotionally you can feel very disbalanced. Now, if you have Jupiter in Leo, Jupiter in the fifth house, Leo on the ninth house cusp, you'll find meaning and happiness through love, through creativity, through your children if you have any, and through public exposure and recognition. You need to love and feel loved. Love is your main source of happiness. And if you have kids, you need to be very creative and involved in some type of creative project, as they would look up to you for inspiration. And when it is hard for you to receive love and to love another, you can also easily slip in the tendency to over-attach and make everything about your kids and place more expectations on them to hug you, to give you attention, to love you, and so on, which makes it hard for you to see and accept them for themselves, instead of placing your personal expectations on them for your own lack of finding love with another person. So you need to prioritize romantic love. Here I'm speaking about romantic love. So even if you, let's say, decide or choose to organize a spiritual art event as a way to get recognition or want to be seen, it would also bring you a lot of happiness. If you're the one who is leading and organizing that spiritual or donation-based event. And when you deny, reject, and do not do that, the way this lack of meaning plays out is by you being very prideful, uninspired, seeking and needing constant attention, and doing things just to get some attention or recognition. And you can also be overly concerned with your appearance and how you look, which can make you vain. Jupiter in Virgo, Jupiter in the 6th house, Virgo on the 9th house cusp. You find meaning through daily routine, through habits, through your hobbies, through healthy habits, and through your pets. You find happiness in working. Pets actually recharge you and give you energy. Even working as a vet or having a hobby as a pet walker would be wonderful hobbies for you. If you're lazy and disorganized, if you stay at home all the time and do nothing, you will feel unfulfilled, nervous, anxious, and have these perfectionistic tendencies and become overly critical. So you need a hobby, you need some activity that interests you to fill up your daily routine with. Also, healthy lifestyle and healthy eating habits have an impact on how happy you feel. So ideally, you do not consume any animal products. And for you, it's important to be of service to others. And also, spiritual workshops, most of them are vegan or vegetarian, which is exactly Jupiter in Virgo. And when you deny, reject, and do not do that, the way this lack of meaning plays out by you being more pessimistic, nitpicky, perfectionistic, and overly critical. Jupiter in Libra, Jupiter in the 7th house, Libra on the 9th house cusp. You find meaning and happiness through your partnerships, which need to have either some spiritual flavor to them instead of ending up with an addict, or a partnership with somebody who is an artist or a doctor, for example. You find happiness through aesthetics and beauty when there is balance in your life, when your life is filled with peaceful and harmonious relationships. And when you deny, reject, and do not do that, the way this lack of meaning plays out by you becoming very indecisive, insecure, and trying to people please everyone. That only suggests that there is no harmony in your environment or relationships. If you have Jupiter in Scorpio, Jupiter in the 8th house, or Scorpio on the 9th house cusp, you find meaning and happiness through hidden things, through exploring mysteries, through sex, transformation, and spiritual inclination. Also, manipulation makes you happy. So you should not stay in one state. You're happy when you use other people's resources and you change and transform, or practice deep, intimate sex. You need passion. So any hidden practices and investigative activities are your source of joy. When you do not have sex, when you obsess and do not change, things may be taken away from you through death or someone's death. Experience a very deep pain to push you to do that transformation. And when you deny and reject that, the way this lack of meaning plays out is by you exactly becoming more obsessive, paranoid, resisting change, which can also turn into feeling bitter or holding grudges and experiencing deep emotional pain. Now, if you have Jupiter in Sagittarius, Jupiter in the 9th house, or Sagittarius on the 9th house cusp, you find meaning and happiness through traveling, going over borders, learning about different cultures, religions, gambling, or embarking on an adventure. Philosophical teachings are also a great tool for you, for your source of happiness, and you need to have your own philosophy about life to have a higher meaning for life than making it all about eat, sleep, and those daily routines. And when you deny, reject, or do not do that, the way this lack of meaning plays out is by you becoming more arrogant and blunt in your expression, which can be very unpleasant. You are going to feel very unsettled and self-righteous, even dogmatic. Now, if you have Jupiter in Capricorn, Jupiter in the 10th house, Capricorn on the 9th house cusp, you find meaning and happiness when things go by your rules, your discipline, your structure and order, and your experience as an authority. You are happy when you are organized and there are your rules outlined to follow to every last detail. Imagine it like a contract with the rules that you have created. You're happy when you are in charge. A specific task needs to be done in accordance to your perspective and your way, not how it is accepted in order for you to be happy. So imagine if you have Jupiter and Gemini in the 10th house, you won't communicate by others' rules and you can even disregard them. So it makes you happy when you communicate at your own time in your own way. And you also need to follow your own rules. You need to apply them, or if you break your own rules, your structure falls apart. So you need to stick to your word and respect your own word. Respecting yourself first makes you happy. If you neglect your own rules, you won't be experiencing very much joy. And when you deny, when you reject that, the way this lack of meaning plays out is by you being cynical, degrading, pessimistic, placing expectations on others and becoming more rigid. Now, if you have Jupiter in Aquarius, Jupiter in the 11th house, or Aquarius on your 9th house cusp, you find meaning and happiness through being your individual, unique self. Not be dependent and hide behind your friends, because those who hide behind their friends fear to be themselves. This only suggests that you fear of being on your own. It is important to be yourself, to be independent from your friends in your own unique, weird, quirky, whatever you want to call it, way. To believe in your dreams and live for them makes you happy, even if they seem different or absurd or too much out there. Because when you deny, reject, and do not do that, the way this lack of meaning plays out is by you sort of being a flock or a rebel without a cause, or socially unable to fit in outside of your group or circle. You can be very dependent on your friends and lack in believing in your dreams and being something bigger. Now, if you have Jupiter in Pisces, Jupiter in the 12th house, Pisces on the 9th house cusp. And this also applies for any Jupiter in retrograde motion placement. You'll find meaning and happiness through social service, through donations, through medical assistance, through art, assisting artists, through therapy, through psychology, through helping immigrants in need, or help spiritual people, healers, to feed them, to give them shelter, to help those who cannot give you something back. So this is unconditional support. Spiritual beliefs in divine and not religious make you happy. Knowing and believing in a creator or universal power and its meaning is your source of happiness. You need to be compassionate. When you do not find meaning in those activities, it will give you illusion and isolation and pain. And the illusion of happiness would be through drugs and addictions and self-isolation. So when you deny, reject, or do not do that, the way this lack of meaning plays out is by you becoming addictive to substances, or you wanting to isolate yourself, or fall into victimhood mentality, and also becoming sadistic. Thank you everyone for watching, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Write them in the comments below, and I would love to expand and provide you with more information that's going to enrich your life and bring a source of your happiness. Thank you. Bye bye.